I don't know. I could actually... I don't think I could survive this. Oh, he did officially endorse him. The other day said he's not a right-winger. Yeah, I feel like he goes back and forth on that, but who knows?
And to people like you and me if we lost.
Yeah. Probably.
Oh, my God. Wait.
To the globe, I was personal.
Brett Weinstein's the dumb one, right? His brother's the reasonable one. Brett Weinstein is dumb. His brother is dumb and potentially schizophrenic. I'm not sure. His brother is like a smarter version of Terrence Howard.
Worried about what would happen to people like you and me if we lost.
Like, I'm worried about what would happen. Like, you know Biden was president for 4 years, and you know nothing happened, right? Like, how can you be so fucking retarded? And when I say how can you, I mean you, the audience, maybe not you, my audience. Sometimes you guys. How do people listen to this and like, yeah, that's a good point, bro. Who knows what would have happened if a Democrat would have been in power? They were for 4 years. Nothing happened to you. Nothing at all happened. Now that Trump is in power, he sued like 5+ different people for saying mean things about him. That's what's happened. So what the fuck are we talking about here? What are we talking about here?
Yeah. Probably wouldn't be so good for business.
Oh, he's laughing because he knows how fucking retarded they're being, because he knows it's a big joke. Okay. And USAID congressionally approved. I mean, their funding has to come from Congress, right? Congress approves funding for programs. If you find something that's not congressionally approved, then they should point it out. But the problem is that they don't even know what the process is for anything. They just think that like if they spend money, then it's bad. But like if you see some kind of funding, then you should, like if you were actually, oh my God. It feels like I'm talking to fucking retards, like our first graders. If you want to know if spending is bad, then you should find something being spent by this executive agency, and then you should ask or figure out, like, well, what part of Congress authorized this funding? And then you should find either the statute or the federal rule or whatever that directed the money here, and then you should find out did this comport with whatever. This would be the process for figuring out if you think that some funding is improper or not. That would be the process for doing it. Going line by line, going, just makes you a fucking retard. But it doesn't matter because these guys love retards, so who cares? It's not even worth going over the process. Like, any way to undo this, though, is in have someone file a suit for a wrongful process of defunding some of these bodies. It's the federal government. I mean, if they defund them, what the fuck are you going to do? They already know they're not supposed to. I think, aren't they already ignoring TROs? Or did they actually stop some of the federal funding freezes or whatever? Like, here's the easy question. Here's the easy question, and the only one you really need to ask. And that is, okay, some of this funding was improper, like frauding or defrauding the government, or it was fraudulently spent or whatever. Who's being charged for the crime? But ask that. That's like the show. Who are we charging with the crime then? Show me who committed the crime here. Otherwise, this is all bullshit. Which this is all bullshit, and nobody's going to be charged with a crime. As numbers across a single year, the agency's existence, I don't know. My guess is somebody like link me the tweet, we can go line by line. But my guess is when you go through all of these, there's going to be like a broad, like program or something that's being funded that is also probably congressionally approved. Fuck me. Hold on one sec. We're going to get somebody. Hold on. Somebody can find me the link to whatever has the most of this shit. Hold on. Oh, start with what the White House put out justifying this. At USAID, waste and abuse runs deep. For decades, the U.S. Agency for International Development has been unaccountable to taxpayers as it funnels massive sums of money to the ridiculous and in many cases malicious pet projects. Here are a few examples. Okay. All right. Well, at least they fucking sourced, I guess, what they're talking about, so they should make it pretty easy, I guess. Why does our government have to source the Daily Mail? Why can't they just like point to their own documents? It's a Daily Mail, Daily Mail, Daily Mail, Daily Mail, Daily Mail, Daily Caller. This is a .gov thing at least. This was in 2019 though, under Trump. This is your government, dog. The United States and Egypt through the U.S. Agency for International Development signed a bilateral assistance agreement amendment worth $6 million that demonstrates continued support from the American people for joint U.S.-Egypt priorities. This agreement will increase educational opportunities, strengthen the livelihoods of the people of North Sinai. The amendment of the North Sinai Bilateral Assistance Agreement supports the Egyptian government's efforts to spur inclusive economic development in the government. Through this agreement, USAID will build on previous investments in the North. Sinai includes provision of potable water to 300,000 residents and wastewater services to 100,000 residents. New activities under this amendment will provide access to transportation for rural communities and economic livelihood programming for families. What do they say this was on the website? To fund tourism? Hundreds of thousands of dollars for a nonprofit linked to designated terrorist organizations. Even after an inspector general launched an investigation. So the Office of Inspector General was already looking into this, but okay. Millions to EcoHealth Alliance, which was involved in research at the Wuhan lab. Wow, okay. Hundreds of thousands of meals went to Al-Qaeda-affiliated fighters in Syria. Does that count as everybody who is against Assad? Oh, wait. Americans paid for hundreds of thousands of meals went to Al-Qaeda-affiliated fighters in Syria. Federal prosecutors revealed in announcing charges against the non-governmental organization employee who they say was responsible for the diversion. So this doesn't sound like money that was approved for them. It sounds like money that was stolen. Like, what does that mean? To ship in illegals? Like, does he really think there was a government program to just bring illegal immigrants into? What are you talking about? Like, the reason why it was high because of a few hundred, even if all this money was being stolen, this would barely make a scratch in our debt. Like, oh, but never mind. I mean, the implication is that they're going to find so much more, right? What is the entire USAID budget? Is it $30 billion?
Why is our deficit so insane?
When he says carports for electric vehicles, so that's bad? Is it ever going to be brought up how much money was paid to subsidize like Elon Musk's electric vehicles, like that we paid in tax credits? Or we just like conveniently ignore that? That's fake. Pete Buttigieg debunked it. Wait, where's his thing on this? A tweet. Link me. This is 7.5 billion. Man, this number just goes everywhere. U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has not spent $7.5 billion on 8 electric vehicle charging stations, contrary to suggestions online. Social media posts misrepresent the total funds set aside under the 2021 Infrastructure and Jobs Act to build a network of thousands of EV chargers by 2030. Facebook post shared the caption. Pete Buttigieg will leave his post having spent $7.5 billion to build 8 EV charging stations. Michael Roll, a former Republican state senator, aka traitor to the country, don't care. This passed in 2021. It allocated $7.5 billion to increase the number of charging points on interstate highways for electric cars, and $5 billion is distributed through the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program. Another $2.5 billion was earmarked for the Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Discretionary Grant Program. According to a spokesperson, programs linked to the law funded 243 public charging ports that were operational this year across 14 U.S. states. There are projects for 24,800 federally funded charging ports underway across the country. A breakdown of the annual fund allocation to various states under the NEVI program shows that spending is projected to reach $2.39 billion by the end of 2024 when Buttigieg's term comes to an end, but these projections were updated in 2022 and do not reflect the final funds dispersed. Oh no. Jamie's bringing up, hey bro, this money is oh! We do care about fake news and curbing freedom. Oh shit, they've come around to my position. Nice. Wow. Okay. Kill me, bro. What's the, oh, our good misinformation guy, Ryan Grimm. Oh, but he's defending Elizabeth Warren. That's good. Where is this? I want to see this community notes tweet that Rogan is talking about. Does anybody have a link to it? Try her Twitter. I don't know how long ago this was.
RFK Jr. Big Pharma since 2020. The reason why you don't want RFK Jr. suing Big Pharma? Is that why?
No, check the website. I don't take contributions from Big Pharma executives. I don't take any corporate PAC money. And you and your allies already know that.
Big Pharma since 2020. The reason why you don't want RFK Jr.
Senator Elizabeth Warren has in fact received millions of dollars in donations from PAC organizations. Wait, did she say in here that she doesn't take donos from any kind of PAC at all?
Big Pharma since 2020. The reason why you don't want RFK Jr. suing Big Pharma? Is that why?
No, check the website. I don't take contributions from Big Pharma executives. I don't take any corporate PAC money. And you and your allies already know that.
Persist PAC, a super PAC that officially formed several days before the Nevada caucuses to support Warren's campaign, announced Thursday it would spend $9 million in advertising across television markets in 3 Super Tuesday states. What does the relationship look like between what's the distinction between a super PAC and a corporate PAC? A super PAC, I don't think has to declare anything because they're like a totally separate thing. They have way less rules around how they spend their money and like report their shit. Like, I don't think super PACs have to report who's donating to them, but they also can't work with any candidates explicitly. So a super PAC wouldn't necessarily. I'm curious if there are like any official like PACs that she works with. What are these two? These are all going to be super PACs then. Nobody knows the difference between a super PAC and a PAC, so it's basically the same, I guess, to community notes. Okay, good one. Nice.
any monies from any PACs. And then, of course, underneath it, community note strikes again. And of course, she received millions.
Yeah.
She's a fucking liar.
Like, this statement is just fucking retarded. You can't, as a candidate, receive money from a super PAC. That's not how super PACs work. If a candidate is explicitly receiving money from a super PAC, by definition, it can't be a super PAC because they're not allowed to coordinate with candidates like that. But that's fine. We don't care about any of being correct or knowing anything about. But they spend it on behalf of their interests? Yeah, but you can't do anything about that. What do you mean? I could right now make a super PAC called, is it NAMBA? What's the name for the pedophile guys or whatever? And I could call it like, I don't know if it's NAMBA. Pedophiles for Trump. I can make that super PAC and raise a whole bunch of money and go and buy ads for Trump. There's literally nothing that Trump can do about it. Like, is Trump now working with my super PAC? Like, this is, I mean, what are you going to, like, it's not a political action. It's committee, right? PAC is political action committee. That's what PAC stands for. Yeah.
It's giving.
If you want to know who enjoys structural support, it's the Republicans via the Senate and the Electoral College, but okay. The billionaires right now? Oh my. I feel like I'm watching like a supercut of all the most retarded right-wing propaganda points, but it's not. We're just 15 and a half minutes into... Watch this. Wait, is this the fractal, the quantum...
We are Common Sense Elections, and you can find us at stopfundingleftistngos.com. This is the second video we have done on the 65 Project. In the first video, we reviewed some of the funding that went to the 65 Project. After we did that, we got a message from someone who was involved in the 65 Project, and they said, could we track an organization called States United Democracy Center? Who is States United Democracy Center? And that's what we're going to do here, and we're going to do it using advanced quantum technology from Fractal. Here, we are going to use the Fractal Dark Money Tracking System, which is a fractal system.
Please say AI. Please say AI. Please, 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 please.
System tracking NGOs, every NGO in America, every director, every address, every employee, and we're going to go track some NGOs tied to the 65 Project. Here, we are at the States United Democracy Center. So now let's go take a look at these folks, and we're going to track them with our fractal technology. So the first thing that we can see is that these folks get $4.9 million, and they're only down for 1 year. So we're going to look at where they get their money from. Now we can see that this organization gets its money from Fidelity Investments, from Schwab.
This sounds like some guy that learned how to use Excel. What? Like, what do we, what?
From the Silicon Valley Foundation and from Morgan Stanley Global Impact Funding. The question that we have now is where did these groups get their money? Because as we talked about in the last video, one of the things that happens is that the money that comes from Fidelity and from Schwab and Morgan Stanley doesn't necessarily originate there. That money can come from a lot of other places. Here, let me give you an example.
He's not just going to click this and then see what their money sources are and assume that because it goes from one to the next, that the next to the next is connected, right? Like if I were to pay some Chinese software developer $50 for a Steam game, and then somebody said, let's see where Destiny gets his money from. And then you find out that, like, when I was filling my gas tank up, driving to Jerusalem, a friend gave me, $50 for gas. And it's like, we can see that Israel directly funds Chinese software acquisition through Destiny GG LLC. Like, is it that? I know that's not on the level of fucking retardation that we're doing here, right?
Here we are looking at Fidelity, and we're going to look now at the $9 billion that Fidelity has in this account to give to other organizations. And the question we're going to ask is, where does that $9 billion come from?
Okay.
And the answer is that that $9 billion comes from a lot of other organizations. It comes from the National Philanthropic Trust, from Schwab, from Silicon Valley Foundation. Now, if you remember, earlier in this video, we saw that Schwab and Silicon Valley Foundation are organizations who are receiving money as well as getting money. So one of the things you're going
They're receiving and getting money?
to see as we go through these videos is that the money is flying back and forth between organization A to organization B to organization C and then back to organization A again.
Why the fuck would you even do this? This sounds like the worst. This is like the... this- Fuck, what am I thinking of? Is it... Or were they coupons? Oh, patty dollars. Is that what they were called? Oh, it sounds like...
Nice doing business with you, huh?
All right, Shanty.
buddy.
Enjoy it.
All right, enjoy yourselves.
Boom!
Okay. Hey,
We
I
did
think
it.
we made every single one of our Patty's dollars back,
You're
buddy.
damn right. Thus creating the self-sustaining economy we've been looking for.
That's right.
How much fresh cash did we make?
Fresh cash.
Yes.
Well, zero. Zero if you're talking about U.S. currency. People didn't really seem interested in spending any of that.
That's okay. So when they run out of the booze, they'll come back in and they'll have to buy more Patty's dollars.
Right.
Keeping it moving.
That is assuming, of course, that they will come back here and drink.
They will. They will, because we'll redistribute these to the shanties, thus ensuring them coming back in, keeping the money moving.
Well, no, but if we just redistribute these, then people will continue to drink for free.
Okay.
How does this work, Mac?
The money keeps moving in a circle.
But we don't have any money. All we have is this. How does this work,
I
dude?
don't know. I thought you
I thought
knew.
you... What? I thought you were on top of this.
You're the one that came up with the plan.
Did I come up with this
Last
plan?
night, dude.
Oh.
With the DMB power card
I
and
blacked out. I blacked out that night.
Like, what's the point of sending the money back and forth at all? What's the point here? Why?
So in many cases, you're going to see that one organization gives money to the other, and then the other gives money back to that organization. So we can see right here that there are 106 different groups that give money in this particular year to the Fidelity Group. One of those is Silicon Valley Community Foundation, which we're going to look at here in a little bit more depth in just a moment. So let's scroll down and see some of these organizations. And as we scroll down, we can see that one of the organizations that is tied to Fidelity is the Tides Foundation. You will remember that when we did the Tides Foundation earlier in some of our other videos, you will see that the Tides Foundation is tied to just about every major leftist organization out there, and that the Tides Foundation, through some of its subsidiaries, is tied to the Chinese Progressive Association. Another organization that is giving money to Fidelity is the National Philanthropic Trust. Let's go see where they get their money from. We are here at the National Philanthropic Association, and you can see they have $5 billion in this particular fund. Let's go see where that money came from. Here it is. It came from Fidelity. So we have Fidelity.
Why is the money why is it just going around in circles? What's the point? This is the dumbest financial analysis of anything in the fucking universe.
Giving money to these groups, and these groups giving money back to Fidelity. And you're going to see
Why though? I want Joe Rogan or Brett to just explain what the point is. Tell me what the point is.
The unprecedented example, Black Voters Matter Fund's $4 million distribution network was invisible until quantum mapping revealed dozens of...
Invisible? It sounds like all of these listings are public. Where are they getting the information from?
Where there's basically, which I don't know if we've talked about Alaska Native corporations before.
Hold on. This is a really good schizo message, right? This doesn't make any sense, right? Destiny, what do you mean? It's so the old algorithms, which were used to analyze these transactions, used to spend hours going around in circles, running out of memory, hiding the transactions from the systems. This makes perfect sense if you know anything about computers and finite space mappings between discrete systems. True. I actually do that between all of my financial fraud connections. I have it so that on the first of the year, we send each other $50 each back and forth so that when the system's trying to analyze all of our transactions, they get stuck in the loop back and forth. I also write like the colon whatever drop table in my memos for every single transaction, just on the off chance that somebody didn't sanitize their inputs when they're trying to hack my fucking bank data.
But this is a
Fuck. Okay, sorry.
That. You're going to
We were just about to get to the part where he talks about something improper going on.
see that throughout the entire presentation here. Let's go down and see some of the others. You will see here Impact Assets, Inc. You will remember from the previous video, that is a major leftist organization that we examined in the other video. You will also see that there is money from the Tides Foundation.
Jesus.
And again, the Tides Foundation is tied to virtually every major leftist group out there. So now what we've done is we've looked at Fidelity Investments, who has given $3.6 million to this particular organization. And we saw where Fidelity's money came from. Now let's go take a look at where Schwab's money came from. So here you can see there's $4.5 billion in that particular Schwab organization that they are bringing out and giving to other groups. Let's see where that came from. It came from Fidelity. So here we go.
Are these just charitable donations? Is that what he's talking about? Or
Money going back and forth, and Goldman, and from the Silicon Valley Community Association. So as you can see, these organizations are very closely tied together. Well, let's keep going. Here we can see that Impact Assets, Inc. is also a player here. So as we saw in the Fidelity example, as we saw in the previous example that we did for the first video, this particular leftist organization is involved in all of this funding. Here's an interesting one, the Sandler Foundation. If you've ever heard of ProPublica, they are funded by the Sandler Foundation. And here's another one. This is a major bank called Comerica. Comerica Charitable Trust is also involved in this. So as you can see, these groups fund each other, and in many cases, the money goes back and forth, and in many cases, this money is coming from large corporate entities. So here we have looked at the Fidelity Investment Group and the Schwab Investment Group, both of whom gave money to the organization that we were asked to look at. Let's go to the Silicon Valley Community Foundation. So as you can see here, the Silicon Valley Community Organization donates approximately $2 billion. Here we're looking at money that came in the $400 million range. Let's go see where that money came from. Again, it came from Fidelity, it came from Goldman, it came from Schwab, et cetera. But we're going to ask a different question now.
Yes, finally, okay.
Of the $2 billion that these folks have
Crimes are bad
this particular year, the question we're going to ask is, who else are they funding? Well, let's go look. Here, as you can see, they are funding the Tides Foundation.
Oh, my God.
$19 million. They are funding PayPal and a number of other organizations.
Jesus.
In all, they are funding 3,490 organizations.
I bet it's even dumber. Fidelity and Schwab are likely donor-advised funds on behalf of clients, and the two exchanging money is clients changing accounts. Why else would two competing brokers send each other money? I don't know. I don't know how any of these things are managed. Like, for instance, can you buy like a Vanguard ETF if you invest with Fidelity? I imagine you probably can, right? Like if I had a Fidelity account, could I go on and look up like VOO and buy? Okay, yeah. So like I wonder how much of this, or you can have like where you donate to. I think you can not donate. You deposit money into like an investment account for donations. And I think you can use that like in a tax advantaged way to spread it out or some bullshit as well. I wonder if this is actually, that might have just been what you just brought up, the donor advised fund thing. Like, I wonder if this is including that as well. Like, it's just investments.
Let's go look at a couple of those. Here's an interesting one.
Do you think this is bad faith, or are they just retarded? I think it's retardation. When you don't know how anything in the world works, everything seems like magic or a conspiracy. Like, imagine you had no idea what carbon was and then one day that you learn that like things burn because of things related to carbon, and you're like digging into this and you're like, holy fuck. And then you find out that like almost every organ in the human body is full of carbon atoms, and you're just like, you find it everywhere and you're like, oh no, how is nobody talking about this? Like it's like that basically. Somebody like sent this guy one database one time and he looked at two columns that were like, wait, what? How are they connected? And then he keeps clicking through. He's like, oh, what the fuck? They all use numbers 0 through 9. Whoa. And he's like losing his mind.
This is called the New Venture Fund. So the New Venture Fund is funded by this particular organization, the Silicon Valley organization, to the tune of $9 million. Who is the New Venture Fund? Well, let's go look.
Like, where is, I'm so sorry, where is the quantum part of this? Like, it sounds like it's just a ton of databases, like a normal database. Somebody mentioned SQL earlier, right? You could probably just put this together. I imagine an ordinary-ass database. Where's the quantum part?
So here we are at the New Venture Fund. As you can see, they have $195 million in funding in just 1 year. And let's see where that money came from. Fidelity Investments, Silicon Valley Foundation, $6 million from the Tides Foundation.
Like when every... Wait, oh no, it doesn't... What does that mean? Hold on. Fidelity Investments Charitable Gift Fund. Oh, and it even says it if you fucking Google it. Fidelity Charitable is a 501c3 public charity. We help donors maximize their generosity through our donor-advised funds called the Giving Account, established in 1991. We're the nation's top grant maker, distributing $11.8 billion to charities in 2023. So this is almost like an assets under management thing. It's like when people are like, Vanguard owns 90% of this company. Well, no, it's people that invest with Vanguard that have the ownership. These are assets under management. That's basically what this sounds like. Like if I were to go and deposit $1 million into my Fidelity account and say, I want to invest in into roads to nowhere in Uganda. I want to build roads that go to the most nowhere places ever. I want to build circle roads. And I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. And then some dipshit like this guy would be looking at me like, oh my God, Fidelity invested $1 million into fucking roads that are just like giant circles in Uganda. Like it says it. Fidelity Investments Charitable Gift Fund. What is the National Philanthropic Trust? It's all going to be this, isn't it? Hold on. I don't know what this bullshit is. Donor Advised Fund. No! Is that what all of this is going to be? What is the... I don't know what the Tides Foundation is. What is the Tides Foundation? Is a nonprofit and philanthropic organization dedicated to advancing social justice. Okay, finally, we have some... Oh no! Donor Advised Fund! Goldman Sachs Philanthropic Fund. Charles Schwab Charitable Fund. Wait, these are all... all of these are just donor funds for people that bank with these people or manage their investments with these people. I think every single one of these, at least these top ones, maybe down here it's different.
So as we go down here, we can...
You have to post this to Twitter, Destiny. We can't let them get away with it. Why? It doesn't matter. This was literally 1 second of misinformation out of the fucking 20 minutes that we've watched so far. This is like impossible to keep up with all this retarded shit.
See that Sandler Foundation, pretty much the same group that we saw before. Let's go see if there are some other interesting ones. This is a very interesting one. This is called the 1630 Fund.
Okay, what is the 1630 Fund? Okay, this looks like at least its own thing that's not just... The 1630 Fund, that's according to the New York Times, or the 1630 is part of a broader network of progressive nonprofits that donors use to fill specific spaces on the political chessboard. Okay. What's he going to say is interesting about it?
You may remember from some of our previous videos, President Trump talking about the 1630 fund and what a problem this NGO was in terms of interfering in various elections. Let's go check them out because they're part of the family here that's funding the organization directly or indirectly that we're looking at. Here at the 1630 fund, the question we're going to ask is who else are they funding? As you can see, there are 287 organizations that they are funding. Let's go look at some of those. You will notice here that the 1630 fund is very much involved in electioneering. $20 million to America Votes, Promote the Vote, Run for Something Action Fund.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally a progressive, like, dark money group that just tries to support progressive causes. I would expect them to be donating to a fuck ton of progressive causes. That makes sense. Yeah, right?
North Fund, League of Conservatives.
Like, none of this is illegal. It's just it's a progressive donor place that donates to progressive causes. Like, what is the
Conservation Voters, which is involved in virtually every one of the swing states and Get Out the Vote. Open Democracy Fund, Advancing Arizona. When we look at the 1630 fund, we're going to do something we have done before, and we can do it with any of the organizations we've looked at. And that is, let's take a graphical look at how big.
Do you even acknowledge that there are line item amounts on USA or USAID that at face value look corrupt in nature, regardless if Congress approved? No, because I'm not a fucking moron. If I was retarded, if I had 65 IQ, if I voted for Trump, like, maybe I would look at like a line item on a sheet that has to do with like a massive fucking part of the federal government and go like, oh, that looks corrupt. Then maybe I would think on its face it would. But my assumption would be that on its face, every piece of funding is probably tied to some sort of congressional act, legislation, and then there's some federal body that decides to decide. That'd be my first assumption. And then if I think that something is corrupt or not good, then I'd probably try to find out, okay, well, where was this money allocated from? What is it supposed to be spent on? That would be my next question. If you really want to know anything about corruption, that would be the next step. Looking at a line item and reporting a line item makes you a fucking retard. You've never had experience in anything in life before. We have to deal with data that's more complicated than how much money mom and dad give you to buy Lego sets.
Big this central nervous system of the left is. This is a fractal example of what happens with the 1630 fund in terms of all of the groups that it is funding. And if we look, the 1630 fund has $191 million in this year alone.
Hey, this guy used Obsidian once and saw the related node graph?
And they are funding each of these organizations. And as we hover them, we can see which of these organizations they are. And as we hover over the points, the system will tell us how much the funding is and what the connections are to the 1630 fund. So as we see that, we can cross and we can go into any one of these.
Why doesn't he have any, like, get like a graphic? You don't even a graphic designer. I don't even know what you would use. Not probably CSS, but like make it like prettier so that it expands and highlights shit. Why is the UI so dog shit on this? Or why does it look bad?
And we can drill in. We can see how much money they get. We can see their directors. We can see their locations. And we can see anything else about them. So that's what's called a cluster view of the 1630 fund.
That's okay. Wow.
But remember,
thanks. I got so much information from that.
The most important thing to understand about NGOs is that what they do is they give money to each other back and forth, as we've shown here in the demonstration.
Can you please tell me why? What is the purpose of this? Can you please just explain this? Why? Why?
And here we're showing you only the money from one NGO to another. What aren't we showing you?
Yes.
We aren't showing you the individual donations, but we can. The individual donations will show you the tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of people who are donating to these groups, knowing that these particular groups are supporting causes that they believe in, and they think that their identities are never going to become public because the only thing people can see with traditional technology might be one NGO and a second NGO. But with Fractal, we can see every one of these people, and we can tell you how much they've donated, and if there is anything along the lines of a liability for a donation, we certainly can identify it. So now we're looking at the 1630 fund. Let's see what happens with the money in the 1630 fund when that money is given from one organization to a second organization. You are now looking at what is called the
Bro, this is some shit where when a friend sends you this, you're like, oh God, I'm so sorry, bro, but we gotta take a ride. We gotta take a ride, my friend. We need to go. You need to have a chat with a professional. We need to get you some help. Okay, but I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there for you the whole time. All right, I'm gonna be there with you through every step of the way. But we gotta go talk to somebody. We gotta get you some help, my dude.
Nebula View. The Nebula View is a view of the 1630 fund. In 1 year, the money that was given to them, they then gave to other organizations who gave it to other organizations. And let's go look at some of these.
What would be the point of that? Can we get to the point? What's the point of this, the ecosystem of the money just going fucking back and forth everywhere? What is the point of, where does the corruption happen? Show me where the fraud, what is happening here?
So, for instance, here's Planned Parenthood. This node is Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood's tied into everything you see here. And Planned Parenthood is giving money to all of these organizations. Now, you can't see this with conventional technology.
Are you sure? Because, first of all, actually, with conventional technology, like, I feel like in an arbitrary, like, it would be arbitrarily easy in an incredibly short amount of time to create an interface that would query a database that would be more accessible than this. I can't tell what the fuck is going on here. Like, so this green thing is connected to these things. Why is it that when you're left clicking these, why isn't this like blowing out like in a cute little fucking graph? Like even Obsidian does this shit. How do you see, where's your stupid fucking graph view? Is it this one? Even Obsidian can do this. Where I can click a thing, oh, this is connected to that. Oh, that's connected to that. Oh, look how many things Israel's connected to. Oh. I wonder how many things Jews are connected to. Like even Obsidian can do this shit. Or maybe Obsidian is using quantum technology, actually. I didn't even ask. Oh, the Tides Foundation. 1967, Tides Foundation. Wait, what?
But we are using quantum speed, fractal technology, and we uncover all of this. Here's Wynn, Minnesota. And you will see this is a $4.3 million funded group. And look at how tiny they are compared to some of these others that run in the billions. And what are they funding? Blueprint Campaigns, Minnesota Youth Collective, Grassroots in Action, Black Civic Network. So if we move around, we can see another one.
Also, this has been like 12 and a half minutes. This guy hasn't said AI once. What the fuck?
One of these groups. Black Votes Matter. So this is a Black Votes organization. Here we can see some of the larger ones that we saw before. And as we hover over them, it tells us.
Is this just a database to download with all the charities? My guess is going to be, I could be wrong, but my guess is going to be that there's probably a government database of every 501c3 with all of their economic inputs, that, like people that donate. Like whenever, my guess is anytime you issue like a 501c3 receipt to somebody, there's probably like a database that shows the income. That'd be my guess. And so they probably just downloaded all of this data. They probably transferred all of it into some SQL database, and then they just like query things, and then they show it to you on this ugly, fucking, disgusting, whatever point node graph this is.
Which organ?
And they think that they've like uncovered some top secret fucking unknown hitherto like connection of companies with donation receipts or whatever. That's what it sounds like.
Organizations they're giving money to. Now remember, we are only looking at 2 levels out from the first dollar. We can look 3 levels out, or 20 levels out, or 100 levels out. We are only looking at NGO money. We are not looking at individual contributions to those NGOs, but we certainly can.
You know what? There's some fucking guy who got contacted by this old dude who's too much retirement money, who's some like 19-year-old comp sci guy, and this guy's like, I got a sick idea. I need you to build me. I need to take this fucking data in a table, and I need you to make it so that I can see how all of it links up. And this kid like just finished his like year 1 database management class. He's like, oh yeah, bro, like that's wicked hard, but for like, you know, 50K, I can build this for you. And then he builds it for him and he sends it to this dude. And now this guy's like schizo querying his database. And this kid is like, oh God, what have I done?
And once we get beyond 2 levels, the screen will turn white with connections. And because of that, what we have to do is we use advanced artificial intelligence. So for instance, if we wanted to run a
Okay, we got to the AI. Advanced artificial intelligence, not normal AI, advanced AI.
query, show me every person who gave money to an organization and somewhere along the line that organization sent money to any other organization who may have also then sent money to the 65 Project. With 1 or 2 clicks, we can produce that list. So that is the power of this technology. And that's what we're trying to show you here. And that is why we are doing these short videos.
Wow.
So follow Common Sense Elections at stopfundingleftistngos.com. You can support us there by making donations, and you can follow us for our weekly high-tech.
Why is it only leftist NGOs? Shouldn't it be all NGOs? Wait, fractal technology? Oh, it's Fractal Design is the case company. I was going to say. Fractal quantum speed technology. By utilizing fractal technology, we obtain results not commercially possible with current technology at a fraction of the time and the cost. Demonstration projects. What? I want to see this in action.